The Ragnarok franchise has been super active since the launch of the first game in early 2000s. Comics, animations, tournaments and mobile games. Many mobile games. Today I want to talk about Ragnarok Begins West, which is an hybrid game that can be played both on mobile and PC. The game was officially launched in November 2022, and if you are planning to adventure yourself in Rune Midgard, here are some tips to start in the game. Let's begin. Leveling. If you are a person that doesn't have the same time you had to play, leveling in Ragnarok Begins is going to be perfect to you. It's really fast-paced and pleasant at the same time. Leveling progression is based on repetitions of tasks, and you don't need to play every day to get high levels. To get levels, the idea here is to do all the quests you can and complete your final percentages by grinding on enemies. Then, you can do more quests. Almost every time you get a level, a new quest appears, and they are filtered by levels and story chapters. The max gap between your character and enemies is 10 levels, so if you are a level 30, try to avoid an enemy level 41 plus. As you progress, more ways to get experience will be added, like the Realm Militia, dungeons, board quests, and later in the game, the Prismatic Realm. Not only you will get experience points, but also resources that will help you develop your character as you get stronger. The auto-healing. By default, the game will have potion usage at higher values. It helps at the beginning because you need to survive, but you can change it as you get stronger. SP potions can be at lower percentages, maybe around 25 to 40%. And HP potions is gonna depend on your class and the map you're playing. For example, you can leave it at 45 to 60 on regular maps and ramp it up on dungeons to 70 or 90. This also includes an auto-healing percentage for skills too, that has its own bar. One of the benefits that you can get by lowering the percentages is that you can save a lot of Zenny that can be used later to upgrade your character. Dismantle or sell. Same way we can set specific actions to healing, we can do the same for dismantle and selling. It's nice to do at least 50 dismantles per day so you can complete your daily missions. If you need any specific mats, you can dismantle more. But it is important to sell the gears you get too, because it will be a way to get Zenny, so you can replenish your potions and save some for future refinements and enchantments that you will do to your characters. I like to disable some other options to spare butterfly wings, but basically these are my settings on both bars. I like to leave some gears to manually dismantle and selling, because it's nice to have more time to compare all the similar gear you will get. What do I mean by that? Well, let's address it. Getting gear. Well, we just reached my favorite topic for this video, the way gear works here on Ragnarok Begins. By completing the early quests, the game will give you your first equipments. Characters do not have restriction to equip gear and weapons, so your mage can use a sword till he gets skill points to unlock spells, and this is pretty fun. Other example, you can equip swordsman gears on your saint, so it will give you more defense, and this strategy can be very adaptable depending on what kind of content you are doing. To me, my favorite weapon is the first two-handed blunt. Looks like a giant broom. There are two types of gear, crafted and dropped. Dropped you get by defeating enemies. In your adventure index gear tab, you can see the enemies you need to hunt to get specific piece of gear. Crafted gear requires diagrams and dismantle items. Diagrams you can get by playing on certain dungeons, like the GTB and those ladies. And you can get Dismantle items by dismantling equipment. Not every dungeon drops diagrams, and you can check this information on the Dungeon tab. Crafted items are super strong, but harder to get the right one on higher levels, because each time you craft one, you will receive a random attribute. The same will happen to dropped gear. You can have many items with the same name, but different attributes. This will get more evident as you start to reach really high levels like 100 and 115, as the gear will have many random attributes per item. By the way, you can also check which part of the gear will receive a random attribute on your index. Some gears, they got fixed attributes that will not change. There are different levels of gear. The stronger the item, the better the status will give you, including when you refine the equipment. Here's an example. As you can see, these items they will equip on the same slot. However, they got different levels, so this will reflect on how it will behave as it gets refined. Since you got limited entries per day on dungeons, it's easier to farm dropped gear with the stats you want to play. Till you have more luck, crafting setups by farming. I'm currently playing with a farmable set, and I love it because it was way easier to build stats like skill crit and dexterity by dropping the gear. If I was to craft it, it would require me a lot of luck because it's not only one random status, it's two. One of the better ways to farm your gear is by playing on events. In these events, you will get a lot more items, so it will be easier to get the specific one you need. The index system. The index is a book that records your progression. Every character on your account will share the index. You can get many stats from it, and it is a cool way to keep track on your progression. One thing about it is that you can share outfits with all your characters by indexing on the book and accessing on the appearance menu that you can find here. Index is a nice way to stack attributes. It will make the journey easier for your other characters that you are just starting. Hunting on a spot. By playing on a party, you can farm on spots with many enemies using fewer potions and even less range area. You can turn on and off every skill and item on your bar, so use this as an advantage. Every class can contribute to the party, so be open to play with different players. You can have really great surprises and also learn about other classes while grinding and farming. The attack speed build. There are two major ways to play this game: spamming skills and attack speed. Spamming skills is more about choosing a nice skill to open your damage, like a defense debuff or an increase on your stats, and then allocating your other skills to do complementary damage. Spamming skills build can also be played manual, so you will be in the control as you cast each skill. However, this isn't the only way to play. You can make a classic attack speed character here too, but it works a little differently. Some classes got a passive skill that allows you to trigger an additional attack on enemies close to you every time you deliver a normal hit. There are some active skills that do the same, but for the attack build, having the possibility to trigger this passive on your normal damage will make all the difference. It's similar to the idea of the autocast on traditional Ragnarok. By having this skill, you can make an attack speed character, and they are great for DPS. The more popular ones are the Spear Warrior and the Hunter, but you can also make an Acolyte, since the class got the same skill. I have one, it's super fun to play. They aren't as popular because the Saint and Inquisitor evolutions of the Acolyte have many skills that are amazing both on support and DPS. As you ramp up your agility and get stats on your gear and enchantments, you can attack pretty quick, since all your actions here on the game, they got a cooldown. There are different ways to build an attack speed character. Since the additional damage is a percentage of your attack, you can have a character with a lot of attack and attack rate to rely on your pure damage. You can add some skills to combo. Some points that you allocate on luck will raise the chance to proc this passive skill, and accuracy stat will also increase your damage. Another way to do it is with crit damages. Let's talk a little about it. Critical damage. To surmise, there are two types of crit damage: regular crit and skill crit. Regular crit is the chance of your normal attack to crit. Crit damage increases the damage of the regular crit, but it doesn't affect skills. Skill crit is not about damage, it is the chance for your skill to crit. The additional attack is a passive skill, so skill crit will increase the chance for it to crit, but crit damage will not affect the final damage, because it only affects normal attacks. Here are the scenarios for crit. Your regular attack can crit and the skill not. Your skill can crit, but your regular don't. Both can crit, none can crit. Looks like a lot of information, but as you play, you'll see it's not. And since you watched this video till here, I'm gonna reward you with a final tip. The most important and precious tip I can give to someone. Enjoy your journey. Every game got a meta that majority of the players aim to get, the best way to allocate attributes, the best skills, points, best gear, enchantments, best cards. But more important than any of these goals is your fun in the game. Ragnarok Begins got a pretty cool mechanics and story. It's a fun game to play. You don't need to rush it. You can actually enjoy the game as you learn about it. At your own pace, by playing with others, you can learn a lot. Smaller goals can build up till you get pretty strong. Not the best, but good enough to help your party in dungeons and to have fun as you play. It's a really cool game to chill while playing. And that's it. These are some tips for beginners. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and feel invited to adventure yourself in the magical land of Midgard. Till the next time.